Welcome, everyone. This is the Abundant Investor Podcast, and we are Beth and Christine, your hosts. We are here to show you how you can live your rich life right now with the power of an abundance mindset and tools the wealthy have used for years that are accessible to the rest of us. Things like real estate investing and using the powerful benefits of life insurance. We're so glad you're here. Now let's dive in. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Christine Fisk, and today we are going to talk about money mindset. Super excited to dive into this.
Hi, everybody. It's Beth Rooney. I'm so happy to be back talking about one of my favorite subjects.
So much. We could talk on and on and on today, and we'll try to keep it brief, and there will be more content on this subject. You can rest assured, guarantee we will be back talking about this again because we just have so much to say, and I think it's changed both of our lives, right?
Absolutely. It's amazing.
Yeah. So there's so much to say about money mindset. There are really some wonderful resources out there. If this is your first time really diving into the topic or thinking about it, I want you to know that there is so much you can do to change your wiring. So the way I like to think of it and position this is that we all kind of come into adulthood with a computer program in our brain. We're really programmed and conditioned by whatever environment we were in as a kid. And that can really range for people. And at the same time, I think we see a lot of similarities between people we know in the money mindset that they bring into adulthood and really don't ever challenge, right? We don't really think about, oh, I could change the way I think about this. I could change my limiting belief because we don't even see that we have it, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's something that's fully in our control, whether it's good or bad.
Totally.
And if it's not, if your money mindset is not where you want it to be, well, that's the great news. You can change it. It's pliable.
Exactly. And you have control over it. You get to own that, and you really get to move in the direction of believing that there's more abundance, of believing that money is positive, that it's always flowing, whatever you want to believe. And we've come to believe so much about the power of abundance and the power of money flowing to us, and that anything is an option, and that really there's so much goodness that comes from abundance. And I think one of the reasons why we created this company is because we want to see more money in the hands of more women. We know that when women have the ability to do so, they will support their community. They will support other women. They will pay it forward. You can just look at some of the very wealthy divorcees of billionaires in this country and see that they are leading the charge with philanthropy and giving money away and doing so many good things, just as examples at one level of how much good there is to do with money and abundance.
Right. That's right. So abundance, it really starts, like Christine was saying, with your beliefs. And what do you believe? What were you pre-programmed kind of a way to believe? And then what do you want to believe? And I think that's not actually that easy for people to decide, right? What do I want to believe? So, putting some work around what would it feel like to be really abundant? And how would that feel? And what would be some of the circumstances to be in to have that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And letting ourselves and our imagination run really wild and big and take the roof off any beliefs we have that there's a limitation to what we can have or what we should have or what will be judged for, and allowing ourselves to really receive the feeling to begin with, because initially it's believing the feeling and feeling the feeling. The reason we want more money generally is for a feeling. We want the money so that we can feel good. We can feel safe. We can feel joyful. We can feel like we have options and freedom and we're limitless. So what if we could tap into those feelings ahead of having the physical money in the bank? That is such a key to being the magnet for the money, that belief and believing that we're there already, because those feelings are accessible. We just forget, and sometimes we think those feelings are dependent on something happening. I'll be happy when I have enough money in the bank, then I will relax.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that people can do to start feeling that is look at their life and say, where do I already have abundance? Where is it that I have abundance? Because it's all around us. So maybe you live in a beautiful part of the country where you get to see nature every day and it's just surrounded you. Or maybe you have an amazing family, or maybe you have a small child, a baby, and that feeling of joy and just happiness is so abundant, right? So where in your life do you already have it? And if you're thinking, I wish my money mindset was better, I wish I felt more abundant financially, well, where do you feel abundant already? And then use that muscle, that muscle memory, and apply it slowly but surely into money, into what it feels like to be abundant in your finances.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take from that feeling from anywhere in your life, and we all have examples of it. It's everywhere. Maybe it's the kindness of strangers, people who have been kind to you, even if you're not in a great financial situation or don't love where you live. It's finding that and it's seeing that perspective. And one of the exercises that we always recommend, I'll give it away early in the podcast, is a gratitude exercise to be really grateful and to write it. Like, we can practice being grateful in everyday life. And part of like going to the mind gym, as I like to think of it, is writing down the things that we're really grateful for. And along with that, what you and I have done both, I know, is write down 5 or 10 things we're grateful for every day. And I am statements. So who do we want to be? Who's the person that we feel we are when we're really abundant?
It's a great exercise. I have to say that if you've been listening along with us and following our story, you'll know that Christine was my coach when I was making a change in my career. So this was almost 2.5 years ago. Christine gave me this idea. And for 2.5 years, I've been writing my journal every day of the 5 I am grateful for statements. And it just is such a beautiful way to start your day. Some people might like to end their day with it. I like to I'm a morning person. I start with that. And then those 5 I am statements. And I just was telling Christine before we got on air that I was on vacation. I was away for a month and I didn't bring my journal with me. And I really felt it. So speaking from somebody that does this, it can really be a game changer. And gratitude, just in general, if you're grateful, there's always something to be grateful for. And that is a free way to travel on towards abundance.
I love it. It's a free way to travel on towards abundance, because feeling gratitude is such a good feeling, and we can tap into that anytime. So it's so funny because I'll catch my kids saying like, well, you made me upset. And I'm like, did I really make you upset? Or are you upset? And you get to choose the feeling that you have. And it's a reminder to myself when I say that to them, oh yeah, I get to choose the feeling too. And I don't have to be upset right now. I can be grateful that we are having this problem. First world problem.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah, it is an amazing lens to look through.
It is. It's one of the biggest takeaways. If you take away anything from today's episode, I would say having a mindset of and having a practice of gratitude every day. It's huge.
Right. Absolutely. Really, and you know, those I am statements aren't as easy as you think they are. And I think we should talk a little bit here about women and their ability to really dream big and using those I am statements, because, you know, we tend to have to do so much around the house and care for so many people that we're not always opening the top of the box and really letting those dreams get really, really big. I know you
totally agree. Yeah. I think so many women, and I was telling Beth before we got on too, that I had a retreat last fall, and we had this example happen where someone was being hyper vigilant about something that was happening. And I think that's what it is. We're so hyper vigilant and we're so trying to keep everybody safe, whether it's our kids, our extended family, our friends, or ourselves, right? We're doing so many things. It's so easy to lose sight of what would really feel amazing and what do I need right now? What do I need to feel good and what would be awesome? And to take ourselves out of that mode of like survival and put ourselves in a situation where we say, what would just feel divine? What would feel so delightful right now?
Yeah.
And one of the best things I've done is to go on retreats or vacations where I do something, whether it's renting a really nice car, staying in a nice hotel, treating myself even to a couple days away. So as a mom and a businesswoman, I can clear my mind and just retreat alone even. That is one of the best things, because it gives us space to, again, remember what is it that I really want in my life.
Yeah, it's really true. I heard this recently and I thought it was a really great thing. Sometimes, anxiety is in your imagination. And you're imagining that something terrible could happen, right? It hasn't happened. You're just imagining that it could.
Right.
You can use that same skill set to imagine something great. And that's what this journaling does. It's using your imagination to really dream big.
Yeah.
It's the same skill. It's just you can decide to use it towards two things that haven't happened yet. Something terrible or something wonderful.
Right.
Use that imagination. If you have a lot of anxiety, you probably can dream really big because you're good at using that imagination. So, trying to shift that from I'm worried about to I am, and I already have established X, Y, and Z, or I am, all those things that you want to be, is just a great way to just enjoy. It's a great follow up to those 5 gratitude statements, and it's a great way to start to control what you want to dream about.
Exactly. And if there's any place you want to be controlling, it's giving yourself the space so that you're not in controlling mode. Right?
Yes,
it's like giving yourself space so that you can let the inspiration flow, because that is abundance too. We're the conduit. We just have to plug in. And when we get into that space, we can really create anything in our mind. And that's where everything begins. Everything begins as a thought or a dream. So we've got to give ourselves permission in the space for that, and then allow it. So one of the big keys to manifesting is clarity, and then allowing it to happen how it will happen without trying to control it so much.
That's really big. That was something you helped me a lot with in coaching, because it's hard for us type A people to do that.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to. And I think that's where, the next piece, and maybe that's what you're going to talk about, is then you have to believe.
Yes.
Right. And you have to believe. And how do you believe? Well, I think that comes down to faith and trust. Right. But, I think maybe those are different things. So let's talk a little bit about believing and what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. Believing some of us have this faith background where we've, always had faith in the unknown or what we cannot see. And for some people, I think naturally it just comes more than others. I will say in my partnership, it comes more naturally to my partner than it came to me. Me being more the type A, my husband being more the type B, like more relaxed, trusting, just naturally trusting. And we used to get into these arguments over money because I felt like we had to have a plan for everything. And he really taught me, although it took me coming around and like rewiring a lot of my beliefs, that trusting that things are going to work out is so important, and it can take a lot of the weight off of you. And our trying to control so much really does limit us. So when it comes to coming back to beliefs, it's believing that the things are working out. So one of the ways I've been, I still practice it, rewiring my brain, is to tell myself everything is always working out for me. That's a belief I choose to embrace and believe because it serves me very well. So when something goes left, when I want it to go right, I remind myself when I'm in the right state most of the time that this is part of the grander plan. It's not in my control. And I trust that it's taking me on the path for the highest good, not just for me, but for everyone. So
that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think that, you can talk about faith with a capital F or a lowercase f, right? It's whatever you believe in. But I too am a strong believer in faith. I have a strong faith. I think it's really important to me in my life. It's helped me through so many things. It helps me be optimistic, just like you're talking about. And whatever that source of faith is almost irrelevant. It's believing it. And if you get that faith through religion or through the universe or through, deep meditation and self-reflection or through your partner really helping you get to that, it doesn't matter. But thinking about it and then, really, having these big dreams and then believing it's possible by having faith and trust is just a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And it changes your perspective. And I think it makes you more grateful for the way that life's unfolding, because the truth is that we don't have a lot of control over so many things. So just letting go from the beginning can be really helpful.
It's almost a circle, right? It's a circle. Yeah. It's doing, where does it begin and where does it end with gratitude and faith and all of that. It actually all starts to feed itself.
Exactly.
And it's a big loop, which is great. And if you don't feel yourself in that loop, gratitude is the place to start.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And another thing I'll say that really helps is surrounding yourself with people who are also thinking outside the box. So we talk about your rich life and what does that mean, and that it's different from the status quo. It's easy to stay in the status quo because it feels safe in our nervous systems to do what everyone else around us is doing. So if we want to level up, if we want to change the game, we have to start seeking out mentors, friends, peers who are doing things a little bit differently, right?
Right. And thinking about, a good exercise is to think about maybe the 5 or 6 people that you spend the most time with, whether it's your coworkers, your friends, and thinking about the energy that they're putting out, because energy is something we haven't even talked about yet, but it's another thing. And if their energy is constantly down and negative, whether it's related to money or anything else, just exactly to Christine's point, you get to choose that. You don't have to be around that energy. If you're on this journey with us and you're starting to really create a more positive mindset around money, it's going to make everything in your life. It's not going to just end at money. You're going to have a more positive mindset about a lot of things. And if you're finding that you're bumping into a wall because the person that you sit next to in the office is constantly negative, or your girlfriend that you walk with every Tuesday morning is always negative, well, then change it. Yeah. Because it's not fair to you, because you're doing hard work. Yeah, exactly. You're doing this hard work. You want to surround yourself with other people that have that high level of energy and that are doing things that maybe not the status quo.
Exactly. So step outside your comfort zone, talk to the person at the yoga studio, or, embrace the old friend you haven't been in touch with, but start to seek those people out. And also, I always like to say, some people say, oh, it's really hard. I'm kind of stuck in my circle of friends and I don't know that many other people. Listen to us, come back and listen to this podcast. It's higher vibe. But listen to podcasts and mentors who are doing things differently. I know for me in my entrepreneurial journey, that was really big deal, is to spend time listening to podcasts of other entrepreneurs that are successful.
That's right. And then, you might have a friend that maybe wants to do the same thing. So share this podcast with them and then go out for a walk and talk about it. It's something like that is a really fun thing to do. I feel like, at least at my age, you kind of run out of things to do. You're like, oh, let's go out for dinner and drinks or something. Well, how about this? Let's each listen to the same podcast and go for a walk and talk about it. There's something you can do with somebody it's fun and different, and it will make you have it will be a great boost to your energy. For sure. And I do think that that's so important, because we are a vibe. What we put out into the universe is what we get back.
Exactly.
And you're going to start to see your vibe improve. And that's really important, to be aware of what vibe it is that you're putting out there, because it's going to make a big difference in this work that we're talking about today.
Totally. Because everything is energy, and really money is energy, right? Money is just printed paper, but what is it? It's an exchange, and it's an exchange of energy. And I think when we are deliberate about how we want to spend that energy and what we want to come back, we give out what we want to come back. It works.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
If we want to start to see more money in our life, we've got to take the money that we've we can't just let it sit in our bank account, or we can't just sit idle. We've got money likes to circulate. We get to move it. We get to spend it, invest it. And I like to invest it in other women. I like to invest it in small businesses. I like to invest it in things that I really believe in. Now, of course, yes, do I have to buy things on Amazon? Sure. But when when I have a choice, or I'm thinking about it and I have an opportunity, I really like to support the things that I want myself. And I think that we all have those choices every day to be really deliberate about our actions. And we're, it does sometimes feel uncomfortable to step outside the status quo, and you can do that in small ways. You can do that by educating yourself. And we have to take action. So listening to all the podcasts in the world is not going to make you the better investor or necessarily more abundant. It's changing your own mindset and showing up and doing the practice and taking aligned action. So taking action that lines up with the belief that you want.
That's right. And
So
sometimes that means taking a calculated risk, right?
Yes.
It means, like, for me last year, it was started with using high cash value life insurance. It was something that was new to me in the last, 3 or 4 years. And to take the action to really, understand it, and then go through the process of establishing policies for my husband and I, that was, to me, it felt like big action.
Yes.
And at first it felt like risk, but then I got educated on it. And I said, this makes a lot of sense. But it's that education to start with, and then taking action. And some instances, maybe like buying real estate, you may feel like it's a risk, but it's a calculated risk if you're getting educated and you're really, really surrounding yourself with great people and really understanding what that action is that you're taking. It's all part of getting to a higher state, a higher vibe around this money mindset.
Exactly. And that's what the wealthy are doing to build wealth, is they're taking these calculated risks, and they're surrounded by other people doing the same thing, because that's who they're learning it from. And then they, in turn, most people are teaching other people in some form, whether it's formally or informally. This is how I did this. Before we got on the podcast, Beth and I were both talking about real estate investment opportunities that we're both looking at. We share that. And so it makes it easier. And we'll talk about any real estate investment opportunity that you're thinking of. You can schedule a free call with us, and we'll talk to you about that and talk to you about our experiences. And it feels safer. So our nervous system likes it when we're around people that are doing some of the same things, because then we don't feel like we're doing something completely out there. There are a lot of people that are using both high cash value life insurance and that are investing in real estate and doing other things. We just have to, our eyes will find what we have outlined in our mind for it to find. So if I say the color red and ask you to say the word red 3 times, you are going to notice the things that are red. Same thing with any investing opportunity. We keep talking about real estate investing, you're going to start to spot those opportunities more. So that's why also surrounding yourself is so important, and doing all of these exercises, because it's all building the muscle and building the perspective for you to make these changes and to start to go down one of these routes.
That's right. And for me, it's exciting that we're 2 women doing this, because we love working with men and women. But if you want to have mentors to teach you this stuff, it's sort of hard to find female mentors. So we want to be there for you and do that for you. And, we have some folks, like we have one man that we're working with. He's the dad of 4 girls. So he's like, I love this. So it doesn't mean that if, we'll work with men and women. And like Christine said, it's so fun to support women in business. And we want to be there for you as you're starting to think about maybe investing in real estate or improving your money mindset, or maybe using high cash value life insurance. It's just fun for us to be there to support you and to be that sounding board for you.
Yeah, we love it. And we both love helping women. So that's why we're here. And if you want to learn more about how to tactically and strategically and mindfully master your money mindset, we have a new course that we are just launching. So you'd be getting in on the ground level. We're just putting this out into the universe. We've had a lot of people asking us questions about money mindset. It's something we've both read and studied so much, and it's changed our lives, that we want to share that with you too. So we will put the link to our money mindset course. It's a 3-series course, and we'll put that into our show notes, and you can find that soon on social media and our website at theabundantinvestor.com.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining with us today. It's one of our favorite topics, as we said at the beginning, and we can't wait to follow you in your journey of growing your mindset.
Love it. Bye, everyone.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Abundant Investor Podcast and learned something new. We would love to hear from you. And if you did get something from this episode, please subscribe and rate this podcast so more people can find it and live their rich lives too. And remember, an abundant mindset means there's always plenty to go around, and through giving, we receive.